The Hannaford. I'm talking about the Hannaford Circus here.
Oh wow.
You know what?
This is pretty fun.
Oh man, look
Oh,
what
wow.
I'm telling you. Hey, wait a minute.
What?
What's today?
Today's Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Wednesday's the day we're supposed to polish our medals.
Oh my goodness, you're right.
I know,
It's
I
metal
never, ever
polishing
remember
day.
this.
I totally forgot. Let me find it. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Oh, remember that time we won these medals at the WCA?
I sure do like competing at the WCA conventions.
Oh, that's so much fun.
This was the bronze we got for the third place in the group skits competition.
That's right. This was that one. And then I've got those other ones, but I have them in the showcase.
Yes, I was going to say, don't get this one confused with the one that you have in the showcase. This is the one we did for the big group skit. Remember
Yes.
we had all those clowns in it?
We did have a lot of people in that group
Well,
skit.
I looked at the rules, and the rules said there's no, you just got to have 2 or more.
2 or more, and that's it.
That's why we had like 9. Maybe it was 11. There was a lot of people.
Yeah, it was fun. But it was pretty fun though. And we met so many new people too.
Well, we did.
Yeah, although we did know them before, we just hadn't worked with them yet.
Well, you know what it's like when you're at the WCA. You work, you meet people, and the next thing you know, you're going to be working with them, having fun with them, doing other stuff. I just want to bring up the WCA website because I want to double check on that rule about group skits.
Oh, all right. Which rule are you talking about?
Well, first I had to go to worldclown.com and then scroll down to the competition rules. That's what I got to do, okay?
Okay, that's
I'm
fine.
telling you. All right. Okay, hang on. I'm scrolling down.
Remember the music we used? I loved that. It was so much fun.
Can't really remember.
You can't remember it?
Well, yeah, we work together so much.
I know,
With so
that's
much
true.
music.
Yeah.
See, that's the good thing. You and I, when we compete, there's only 2 of us.
That's true.
And like this
Yeah,
rule says right here, 2 or more, it makes a group skit.
it's true.
The 2 of us work together so much, we use all kinds of music. So anything we do together would be a group skit.
That's true.
Which is lucky because when we go and we do shows, we have so many different parts that we do in the show. We can take any one of those, put it in a group skit competition, it would be a group skit.
And a group skit is 5 minutes or less. And it doesn't mean that you have to use all of those 5 minutes. You could do a group skit and it only be 2.5 or 3 minutes.
All of the skits are 5 minutes or less.
I know, I'm just saying.
Well,
you
I
don't have to use all of those 5 minutes. If you have a skit that, pulls a punch right out of the gate and goes for 1.5 minutes, why not use it if it's fantastic?
Some people actually just do a joke. And they act out a joke for a group skit. And if you do that, well, it might not take 5 minutes.
That's right.
Get in, get the laugh, and
Get
get
out.
That's what we say.
That's
Oh,
our
yeah.
motto, that's for sure. Get in, get out, get the laugh.
Well,
Did I say that wrong?
you did.
Oh, well.
But that's okay. It's still our motto, no matter how we say it. But, the thing about doing group skits where there's got especially when you got more than 2 people on the stage, even if it's just 2 of you, focus. You want people to know where the gag is at. So if I'm doing something right now, look at her. She's focusing on me. She's throwing her focus my way, so you guys know, pay attention to what I'm saying.
It could have gone like this. Say all that again.
All right. When I'm gonna go out there and do some group skitting because we're both clowns, you might think it's time for you to clown around and stuff. But you know what? What I'm doing is what's supposed to be being focused on right now. You even distracted me with that.
Did I?
Yes.
That doesn't work well, does it?
She's wearing glasses. She never wears glasses.
They're my clown glasses, honey.
But of course they are. Hey, it's Bert Lahr. Yeah, whenever you're looking up comedy and clowning and stuff, you want to go back to the old timey, the vaudevilles, the silent era. And Burt Lahr, who played the Cowardly Lion, he started out in vaudeville with a kid act and worked his way up to being a headliner with his partner, and then he was a star on Broadway. And he had a solid rule: don't move on my punchline.
Really?
No matter what, when the punchline comes, everyone on the stage just stopped. And if you moved, he knew. And he also knew who the people that were trying to upstage him were, because they were moving on his punchline.
Wow, that's really good advice for clowns too, because I do find that sometimes when I'm watching, I'll notice there's something going on over here, and you want to go look, but all the focus is over here. So you know what, Burt Lahr is a smart man.
Well, I don't know about smart, but he was funny.
He wasn't cowardly.
Kind of like, she has moved on my punchline, and I moved on hers. Okay, you won on that one.
Good.
Hey, the group skit. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I've been in group skits before, and I've judged group skits before, and the whole thing is the group dynamic. Because if you just have 7 people or 4 people doing different things on a stage, it's not gelled together. Now, we had a mayhem gag or skit that earned us our medals, and it was the whole idea was I was trying to get something done, and then clowning was crossing all left and right, and as they came on, I focused on what they did, and then they left. So the dynamic was I brought everyone into the world of where clowns live. And while you're trying to concentrate on one thing, you never know what's going to happen next, because there's still walkers, there's jugglers, there's people eating bananas, all kinds of things going on. People eating bananas.
That was crazy. That was a really fun skit, and it was great because everybody got some focus thrown on them at one time. And that's another thing about this group skit dynamics is you want everybody to participate, and you want everybody to get their little limelight. And that makes a really good group skit. How you work together, and that everybody is part of it and having a lot of fun.
And you know, there was a skit from the Chicago Alley. There was an airline skit.
That was a really good one.
That was hilarious. And it was a story. They were telling a story, beginning, middle, and then brought you right through the whole thing. And you could tell that they had practiced.
You could tell they had practiced.
There's one thing it's important is you got to practice a group skit. If you get to a convention and say, hey, let's throw a skit together. I can make a skit out of that. Well, yeah, it's been said forever. And those all for a bunch of people that don't have a Wednesday metal polishing ceremony or afternoon. Anyway, the thing is, the skit that we did, we wrote the skit. We cast the skit with several people who could play because we didn't know who was going to be at the convention with us. We knew we needed a lot of clowns. And there was some specific spots that we talked to people and talked them through the routine. And then when we got to the convention, they knew what they were doing. They knew what we were asking of them. We had the props, and we worked together a few times to make it gel.
We had to bring props, large props too, like stilts, because that was one of the pieces of our skit.
We had a rolling globe in it.
And we needed people who could walk stilts, so if you're just throwing something together, you don't always find somebody who can walk stilts.
Yeah, or happen to have them too.
That's true.
But the thing is, the timing on it. If you practice and you practice and you practice, you'll know that it's 5 minutes or less. And you'll know when you're getting to the 5 minutes. So when that little bell rings over the judges' table, you don't freak out.
No.
Just keep going. Just keep the gag going.
Yes, yes.
It's gonna end when it ends.
And sometimes if you have music that gives you some cues as to how far along you are, that's always helpful too. You could have like a certain note or even a bell ringing or something in your music that tells you if you're on track, and you can just listen for that. It's also really important to make sure that everybody gets off of the stage, because the skit's not over till everybody is off the stage. So that's another important rule that a lot of people aren't aware of.
That's true.
You could say. Yeah.
I just thought of something.
What?
It's okay if I think a little bit?
You can think.
Okay, good. You know, we were talking about throwing focus.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's one person, or if it's two people like we are, or if it's 3 or 4 of you, and you're not distracting from each other, but if you're part of what's going on, you're not taking the focus. A lot of people rely on microphones, and if you're throwing focus, you don't need a microphone because people can see where the action is at. I've seen people stop their routines just to go up to a microphone so that they can make sure everyone heard them. They could have just kept working.
That's true.
And think about the person in the very back row. That's the person that you want to have watch you.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you're going to play it big, and you're going to throw the focus so they know where to look.
That's a really good point. Also, I just remembered something. Always expect the unexpected. I don't know how many times that we've been on stage and something just doesn't go right. A lot of times it is a microphone and you just have to deal with it on the spot. We've actually been performing and the lights have just shut right down and we are in the dark. And we've had to reevaluate and figure out on the fly what to do next. We're still having fun, we're still out there performing, but you gotta sometimes, oh, and music too. Sometimes there's always a glitch in the music or the person working the music doesn't know your
Wait a
music.
minute, sometimes there's always. There's no such thing as sometimes there's always.
There's always a glitch in one of your performances where the music is gone.
I know, I completely interrupted you,
Yes,
and I'm
you
sorry if I threw you off.
That's okay.
But I wanted to keep going with what you had said there. Because when the lights did go out, and when the music does stop, you know what? You're still what everybody's looking at. So you can't stop and go, well, what's going on here? But I saw a show one time where they had these two MCs that were not very professional, and they each had a microphone with a wire on it, and they worked back and forth so much that their microphone wires got all tangled up. So one time when they came out, before they introduced the next act, all they talked about was how tangled the wires were. Nobody cares. It was a glitch, took completely away from the whole show, dropped the whole rhythm. Rhythm, you want to keep the rhythm in your gags.
Yes, keeping the rhythm in the gag, having a beginning, a middle, an end, something that makes sense to the audience as well as you. And also, try and find people that you work well together with. And I always like to have a team leader. Sometimes it's him, most times it's me.
You know, when she was saying a beginning, a middle, and an end, just like in any story, any joke, any skit that you're doing, as long as you keep pulling the audience along with you, they'll follow you. If you hesitate for a moment, if you lose it, that's when you're gonna drop them. You want them to keep wanting to pay attention. One time, I was the MC of a skit competition, and I was up there working. Talk about distracting you. I would set up a punchline, and one of the judges would steal the punchline. In my routine, I would set up, and right when I would go for the punchline, the judge would steal it. 3 times in a row, he did that. I couldn't believe it because he was supposed to throw me the focus because I was the guy on stage. He wasn't even on the stage, so I was heckled by a judge when I was in competition. Don't worry. He's not a member of the World Clown Association. I won't tell you what organization he is a member of. What? Okay, I'm sorry.
Hey. Actually, I'm just looking through our notes here. When you know the people that you're performing with, you should have the same vision and goal. And having a team lead kind of helps you through to get that vision, to get that goal, and to see it all through, and just kind of have some focus on that, don't you?
Can I elucidate on that?
Sure.
I have elucidation for that. Well, we've been at 13 minutes, you know. This is what happened. One time, I helped some friends with a skit, and the skit was a 1, 2, 3 laugh kind of skit. And it was like this bit, this bit, this bit, the whole skit based on bits. And there was water spitting and there was a bucket of water thrown and it was funny. They took the skit, they got their group together, and all of the other people in the group said, oh, but you know what? I would like to make a big entrance, and I would like to do my Linking Rings act. And the other person said, oh yes, well, I have an invisible dog. And the other person was like, oh, well, you know what? I do this voice talking like a duck. So I'm gonna make, so they all decided to make an entrance doing their personal bit, and then they got to the skit. So by the time the skit was on the stage, it was a whole bunch of clowns doing all their individual stuff while they were trying to do a skit together. Guess who didn't get very good points that time?
That is such a great example of
Why, thank you, Kozy.
putting a whole bunch of people together who may or may not have worked together, and they all have different visions. They all
Right.
have a different idea, but you need to focus on your one idea, your storyline. I always say it has to have a flow to it.
And there's nothing wrong with throwing a bit out.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, we've done that so many times.
We did it today.
That's true, we did. Yeah, we start working through things and well, this would be really good. And the problem with us is we have so many ideas and we're writing them down and we're firing things. Oh, that's great, that's great. And it's awesome to have it down on paper and have all these ideas, but then you have to weed through them. And sometimes it's a really great thing, but it just doesn't fit that skit. So you just take it out, and then your skit will flow so much nicer.
As long as you don't take out the part that's important to the story.
Yes.
Okay, we talked about group skits.
We talked about music a little bit.
Music, yeah.
Yeah, I think you need to talk about music formats.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
You know, getting prepared to do the skit is one thing. Being there and getting the skit together. Get there early. Make sure everybody is signed up. If you don't have everybody's name on the paper, they can't be in the skit. And then bring your music early to the sound guy. Oh, wait, we're going to be, what time is the show? 7:30? I'll probably be going on 4th, so I'll bring my music at 7:45. No, if the show's at 7:30, bring the music at 5 o'clock. Bring it the day before. Mark it with your name. They would love it if it was they could plug it into their computer and play it. That's the best thing, right?
It really is.
That memory stick. Otherwise, they can use a CD. I don't think they're going to use a cassette tape any longer.
No, I don't think. No.
Between now and the time you get to the convention, you can find some 12-year-old kid who can take a cassette tape and turn it into a memory stick. And if you're one of our friends from the other side of the world, remember, sometimes your formats don't fit the U.S. formats. So you got to make sure you do that. But get it there early. Bring your music early. Bring your props early. And if you can, have a list of where your props go, so that you know the stage hands don't got to worry about it. They're there to help you, but it sure is a lot of help if you help them too.
And when you just said make a list, I'm a huge list maker. I like to make sure I have everything from a rubber chicken all the way to I have no idea.
Nose polish.
Nose polish. I want to make sure I have every single thing that I am bringing for that skit written down so I can, it's just a mental check.
And then she makes me carry it. You know, that's another good thing. Carry it. When you're working on your skit, make it a real clown skit. If you need a bench, use a bench. If you need a basket, use a basket. Don't use a cardboard box if it's supposed to be a basket. Don't use 2 dining room chairs if it's supposed to be a bench. Make a little thing to cover it up to make it look like a bench. When you're working with props, bring us into your world. Bring us into your story. And if it's a mime sketch, it's the easiest props in the whole world to carry with you. Mime sketch. All right, we're almost at 20 minutes. I don't think it's supposed to be this long. I can't remember what Randy Christensen told us to do, but I guess this is easy and cozy, and we're just going to leave you with our motto: get in,
Get out.
get in,
Get a laugh.
and get out.
We might have to edit this.
See you later. Freeze.